you need to start seeing yourself as a brand. You need to start seeing yourself as an actual company. And this is what sets the difference between you being great and you struggling. Understand that the service you give is the solution, and what you are giving is value. Every value comes with a cost. Make sure and understand that you should not be undervalued. The moment I started treating my skill as a business, everything changed for me. That was the way I started attracting better and bigger clients. It's important for you as a designer, see yourself as a brand, as a business. And the moment you start seeing yourself as a brand, one thing you need to start to understand is the value of what? Systems. So for every great brand you see out there, for every great business you see out there, there is what? There are structures and systems. Have you ever wondered what exactly is the difference between designers doing great and those who are still struggling? It could just be the difference in the way they think of themselves. Struggling designers think of themselves as very good designers. They are very good at their skill. They are very good doing what they are doing. While great designers treat themselves like an actual business. They don't just see themselves as a freelancer, neither do they just see themselves as an employee, but they see themselves as a business person. And that's exactly the mindset that sets the difference between those designers. The slight difference between a great designer and a struggling designer is first in the way they think. And that mindset shift is very important. Welcome back to Transition with Dimgold. And in this fourth episode, we'll be talking about design as a business. One of the greatest mindset shifts, like I said initially, is just in the way you think of yourself. As a designer, you need to know that you are not just a designer, but what you are a business person. That means you are giving a product or a service in return for a resource. In return for money, right? So, firstly, you need to stop thinking of yourself as an employee or a freelancer or somebody who is just being employed to do a certain thing. But what? You need to start thinking of yourself as a business person. I mean, you need to start seeing yourself as a brand. You need to start seeing yourself as an actual company, right? And this is what sets the difference between you being great and you struggling. Understand that the service you give is what is the solution, and what you are giving is value, and every value comes with a cost. Make sure and understand that you should not be undervalued. Your skill should not be undervalued. Your expertise should not be undervalued. And then your business should not be undervalued. For me as a designer, the moment I started treating my skill as a business, everything changed for me. Starting from the way I set my goals to the way I build my systems and my structures around my work, and even to the way I even begin to. That was the way I started attracting better and bigger clients. It's important for you as a designer to what? To see yourself as a brand, as a business. And the moment you start seeing yourself as a brand, one thing you need to start to understand is the value of what? Systems. So for every great brand you see out there, for every great business you see out there, there are structures and systems. And the truth about it is you need to place structures and systems around your business that will make work easier. Systems help you scale and grow as a business person. It makes your work predictable, repeatable, and profitable. As a business person, you need to start structuring systems around how you onboard clients, how you manage project and deadline, and even how you present your deliverables, and even how you take in feedback. Structuring these systems help you to what? Help you to scale and help you to grow as a business person. And it's even reduce your stress. For me as a person, one of the best way I place structures around my business was firstly preparing rate card across all of my services. So whenever a client asks me for what are the prices for the services I offer, I do send them a rate card. And starting from there, how I onboard my clients is to hop on a call with them, have an understanding of what their project is about, and then if they give my suggestions and give a better way to what to solve, because I know they're coming with a problem, and I give better way to what solve the problems. And we discuss everything that's touching the project, down to the project timeline and to the what deliverables, and then to the what the price of their project, the cost of their services. And from the moment they agree to the whole thing, I send them an official mail to kickstart the project, and I send them an invoice and attach to the mail my invoice, and they get to pay. And the moment a payment is made, and that's an advance payment is made, then their project starts. So I found I use Notion to manage projects, my projects. So I place my timeline, I set deadlines and everything on my Notion tab, and I send it to the client, onboard him on the Notion with his email. And then after I'm done with the project, I send my deliverables. I send it to them through the mail, and I also update it on the Notion board. Setting up systems as little as your rate cards that contain the price of your work, management of projects, maybe probably through the use of maybe Notion or Trello or any management platform that you know, and down to what providing deliverables either maybe through Drive or whatever best way you can what present the project to the client and send it off to them for a feedback. And what also having to draft out meetings, I mean using Google Meet calls and not just WhatsApp calls. Using Google Meet call to help you to what position yourself as a professional. So all you should just have at the back of your mind is I am a business, and every single thing I do, does it position me as a business? So, and after you having to orientate yourself and give yourself the mindset of not just being a designer, but what as a business person or a brand, then what need to start placing structures of system around your brand, which are some of these things I just explained to you. Now, after you've been able to establish some systems around your brand, the next thing you need to start thinking of what is the future of your brand. And it's very, very important for you as a designer. I remembered in the beginning of this podcast, I spoke about the need for you to be what visionary as a designer. But here, when it comes to business, you need to start thinking of the future of your business too. Now, you need to start thinking beyond 2 years, beyond 5 years, beyond 10 years of what your business should look like, right? And these are some of the things that will help you to make certain decisions on even the kind of project to take, the kind of project to what to go on the lookout for. So because as a brand, as a business person, not all project you take, even as a visionary person, not all projects you take. So this help you to make decisions as touching, will this have an effect on my brand? Will this help my brand? Is this good for the future of my brand? Is this going to give my brand a very good image? Right? And so those are the things. So you need to start thinking beyond gigs, design gigs all the time. You need to start focusing on, okay, what does the future of my brand look like in the next 2 years, in the next 5 years? Think of yourself as a personal brand. Think of yourself as an actual company, like a design studio. Makes a lot of sense. Think of yourself as a digital product. I mean, think of yourself as a platform, as a community for other people to what to learn and to grow with, right? So don't just think month to month. Think many years to come. Because what? You are not just a designer here. You are not just a creative here. You are what? Also a business person. You've got to also make money doing what you do. So one of the best definition of business when I was in school was business is the exchange of goods or services for what for a profit. So your skill is not a business if you are not making a profit from it. And it's important for you. So such that when you are actually taking up, I mean, when you're actually providing a value to solve an actual problem as a designer, because this is what you do, that you what there is something you get in return, which is very important. So you might be experiencing some struggles around your business, but you need to ask yourself, do I treat myself as a business person? Some of you might be struggling with making money doing what you love doing, but you need to ask yourself, do I actually treat my skill? Do I treat my design work like a business? And so the last thing I'll be treating in this episode is what you need to also understand what client experience is a part of the products and services. See, your product and your service is beyond logo design, it's beyond brand identity design, it's beyond UI UX design, it's beyond doing all of those things. Yes, it's cool, it's great. But I want you to know one important service you are giving is what client experience. Your client needs to say something good about you. Your client needs to express themselves of how they feel working with you. It makes one of the reasons why a client will come back to you over and over again and refer you to somebody else is because of the experience they had working with you. A few months ago, I worked with a client, and for me, because that was the very point I made a decision to treat my brand as a business. And then I started doing a few things. In fact, I go the extra lengths to make sure my clients are very happy with my works. So I go beyond. I know I deliver excellence with my what my products and my services, but I go beyond that. I also try as much as possible that my clients are happy with my work, and that is the extra length I go because I know it's part of my product and it's part of my services as a designer. So I treat this guy like a king. I make sure that I properly with my structures as touching the systems I played around my business. I properly what I was able to provide him feedback on his work. I was able to present his work in a very good, presentable way. He loved my work, he complimented my work, and he referred me. Having that one client in your life is enough for you as a designer. And one thing that helped me earn this client's trust was what the client experience. It's why for most of us we complain about our customer service when it comes to our service provider, internet service provider like MTN, because what most of them to some extent they have a bad customer experience and it doesn't make a lot of sense. Now you complain about these guys, but sometimes will you ask yourself, can you ask yourself when you work with somebody, after working with somebody, what will this guy say about you? Some of you, when you work with a client, you can't even ask the client for a testimonial of his work experience with you. Why? Because you know what you did. One thing you need to understand as a designer who think of himself as a business person is what client experience. Your client experience is one of the most important part of the service you offer. So you've got to what make sure that your clients enjoy their experience working with you. And one final thing you have to also try as much as possible to do as a business person is to track, measure, and reflect on your brand. Track the progress of your brand, reflect on what you've done, and measure your progress. Measure how far you've grown. Measure how much your company made this year, this month, and how much they made last month. What was the progress like? Measure the massive growth this year and measure the growth you had last year and compare and contrast. See what you can do. What are the decisions you need to make to push your brand from where it is now to the next level? So it's very important for you to what? Track, measure, and reflect on your brand. Do these things and see yourself grow, transition from a struggling designer, a normal designer who doesn't know what to do, to what? A great designer.